The world of roguelikes is vast and varying, and it is my job to review it. Hello everyone, I am the Roguelike Reviewer, and today we will be reviewing Shroom and Gloom, an upcoming deck builder where you fight through a gloomy cave of mushroomy creatures. I have recently found myself in quite a deck building craze, as I have been playing Balatro again and a ton of Across the Obelisk with my friends. But I think Shroom and Gloom has a solid chance to be as good as these games and many other deck builders. Now, how does it stand up to the genre classics? Its gloomy art style, fun mechanics, ability to make stupidly broken cards? Let's dive in and find out. Starting as always with the gameplay. In Shroom and Gloom, you play as a nameless character who awakens with one goal: get the W, as shown by the card in your hand. Clearly this is what it means. Definitely not instructions on how to move. You start with some basic cards, but you must delve deeper to find or dig up more, fighting hordes of ever-growing fungus, with the goal of reaching the deepest depths. In these depths, you seek a mysterious figure. I'm sure in the future we will learn more about this character and what they want from us, or why we're even seeking them in the first place. But for now, all we must know is that we need that W. As you'll delve, you'll probably notice that you actually have two decks instead of one. You have your combat deck, pretty standard stuff here, cards that kill your foes in various ways, such as stabbing, slashing, or even cooking. You heard me right, cooking. With everything being a mushroom, it just makes sense that one of the archetypes of builds you can make is a food build, designed around cooking and eating many enemies to grow stronger and maintain high HP. Then we have some cards that just deal damage, or even scale with kills. Then we have my personal favorite type of cards, evolvable cards. These cards evolve into a better card when you play them the required amount of times. I haven't seen this mechanic in any deck building game, and it plays well with how I like to build my decks. Small and consistent. This system massively rewards you for consistently playing the same card. And after that we have the most unique card type of all, passive cards. These cards can't be played, but provide a benefit to you while they're in your hand. This is an extremely unique way to do passive benefits. It makes you have to actively think about how you're going to get the most out of each card, as it will take up one of your draws to use its benefit. So you end up having to change your mindset on how you want to build your deck to get the most out of these cards. Moving on from that, we have your exploration deck. This deck is used to help you grow stronger in between combats. This deck has things like food to heal with, and keys to open both doors and chests. Both of these types of cards can also be used to trade with, giving you another way to gain cards for your deck, or even get rid of food cards from either deck you were not using. You can also use shovels to dig up new cards for your deck. To me though, one option remains supreme: the buildings. These are huge game changers, and will likely be your bread and butter for becoming stronger. Each building does its own thing. The Toad Shrine lets you remove cards from your deck, always a classic. The Kitchen lets you get food related buffs for your cards, extraordinary for the food build. And my personal favorite, the Practice Dummy, which focuses on increasing damage, either by giving a 1.5 times boost, making the card hit another time, or allowing it to scale on kill. And let me tell you, if you get this in a good card early, you can scale with it stupidly fast. I actually livestreamed this game about a month or so ago, and it showed this perfectly, as I got an insanely strong scythe, and then proceeded to kill the final boss in a single turn. This is a very unique take on making builds, allowing you to create this ultimate attack, the scythe tending to be the best example. On a little side note, I genuinely believe that the scythe is the strongest attack in the game. This thing is insane when upgraded. The only reason I wouldn't take one is if it's too late in a run to upgrade it. This creates a unique feeling for becoming stronger, as many other deck builders are designed around building a very synergistic deck. And while there are synergies in this game, they don't really seem to have as high of highs or take a lot more work to get going in the first place. Even the food build, which I think is the most synergistic build in the game, that has the most amount of moving pieces in it, still has a way to just strengthen 1 to 2 weapons to stupid levels of damage, with the other buff-centric strategy of gaining rage essentially doing the same thing, but as a hand-wide buff to damage this time, that needs rebuilt every fight. As such, the end goal of a run tends to feel very samey. have insanely high damage cards with cards that either cycle to it or make it even stronger. In a way, this is kind of similar to Inscription, with that game also having a focus on gaining more stats for your cards than your opponent can handle, trying to get to that card with those stats as consistently as possible. But with Inscription, I just think it works better, as that game is very reminiscent of your classic tabletop card games, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic the Gathering, where you're trying to control the board as much as possible to prevent the opponent's monsters from gaining the upper hand. And even then, there are other ways to gain an advantage, as almost every creature has a sigil that will help you win. Ants gain attack power in numbers, your flying cards will ignore most foes to attack directly, and Ouroboros can have infinite stats if you set them up properly. Both games also lack a debuff style build, which other deck builders tend to have. Poison probably being the most common example, as many games have a poison system in them. Inscription legitimately only has 3 debuffs in the entire game. Stinky, which will lower the foe's attack stat, Repulsive, to prevent your card from being attacked, and the Paint item, to remove your foe's sigils. All of these debuffs playing into its board-centric gameplay, and not helping you unless your foe has a card in play. More debuffs are just simply unnecessary, and wouldn't really benefit the game in my opinion. The same could be said for this game, as this game does currently have a very unique feel, with creating the ultimate attack, and I do want it to maintain this identity. However, I do really feel as though it could benefit from at least one way to play that feels different than hit the enemy really hard, or hit them a lot. This game also has 3 debuffs currently. One giving you food for killing the enemy, another makes enemies take 1 damage per card played, both of these definitely having the feel of more of a support piece rather than a build itself. Then we have the one that's closest to being its own thing, Vulnerability, which increases damage by 50% per stack. But then we come back to that same issue. This is still just hitting an enemy really hard with 1 or 2 ultimate attacks. As such, these all tend to feel like supplements, rather than their own thing. Some would argue that this is fine, as many games have debuffs which are intended to support your build, not define it. In this case, however, I really feel an alternate strategy would help out a lot. This would allow runs to feel way more unique from each other, and having more ways to play also helps with replayability, which is the roguelike genre's biggest selling point. As such, I do think a poison debuff similar to Slay the Spire or Across the Obelisk could be very beneficial, and give more options for players and a different feel for how you win a run. Also, seeing a debuff number get exponentially bigger will never not be satisfying as hell. Big number make brain feel good after all. Moving on from the gameplay, once again we have another roguelike with very little lore. This time though, I do think that this will be remedied, as the game does seem like it's going to tell us more about this entity that we reach at the end, and why we are here in the first place. We will just have to wait for future updates that have this stuff in it. The art style is also very unique, and a huge boon for the game, as it looks fantastic. It feels like you're this cartoon character in a pop-up book. It is a beautiful looking game. Every enemy and environment is very well crafted. The final boss especially is a marvel to look at. Not only that, but it is pretty challenging too, especially if you haven't fought it before. Even with a few OP attacks in my deck, I have still lost to them on occasion. This is absolutely one of my favorite looking roguelikes of all time. The only one that comes to mind that I like the looks of better is Dead Cells. Cause man, am I a sucker for pixel art. If you haven't checked out this game already, I urge you to go try it, and support the developers, as they are crafting something truly special here. I can feel it. As such, I give this game an 8 out of 10. It is a truly unique deck builder, and while it is lacking in replayability now, I do think that this will be remedied with time, as this game has so much more content to be added in updates. Thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed the video or have any recommendations, please let me know in the comments. And while you're down there, if you could like the video and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And I'll see all you fellow rogues in the next review. See ya!